Leonard Vance, CEO of StellarThreads, a nationwide retail chain known for its affordable yet stylish clothing, felt a knot of unease tightening in his stomach. For months, anonymous employee surveys hinted at discontent. But the polished quarterly reports told a different story. Was it a few disgruntled outliers? Or was something truly amiss beneath the gleaming surface of his empire? He decided to find out, not from behind his polished mahogany desk, but from the ground up, literally. His undercover persona, Leo, was meticulously crafted. Gone were the tailored suits, replaced by worn denim, a slightly faded band t-shirt, and scuffed work boots. He'd swap his luxury watch for a cheap digital one, his sleek smartphone for a basic flip phone. The scent of his usual cologne was replaced by the faint, lingering smell of stale coffee and disinfectant that permeated the stockroom. His privilege, his power, it all evaporated with the careful application of a patchy beard and a slightly hunched posture. He felt small, unseen. It was a bizarre, unsettling freedom, a shift in perception that hit him immediately. People didn't defer, they barely noticed. He was assigned to the receiving dock at the flagship store in Greenview, a sprawling warehouse attached to the retail floor. The air thrummed with the constant drone of forklifts and the jarring thud of boxes being dropped. The concrete floor vibrated beneath his feet, sending a dull ache up his shins. Pallets stacked precariously high loomed like cardboard monoliths, and the relentless beep of scanners echoed in the vast space. It was a sensory assault, a world away from the hushed elegance of his executive office. This wasn't the StellarThreads he knew. This was its beating, grimy heart, and it challenged every assumption he held. His mission was simple: understand why morale was plummeting. He expected to find minor inefficiencies, perhaps a few grumbles about long hours. He was, in his hubris, prepared for a quick fix. His first shift was an eye-opener. The manager, a stern-faced woman named Beatrice, barely acknowledged him, barking orders at the exhausted crew. He noticed how quickly the initial friendliness of his co-workers evaporated under Beatrice's watchful eye. Whispers replaced open chatter. He saw a young woman, Chloe, struggling with a particularly heavy box of jeans, her face pale, and Beatrice merely snapped, "Move it, Chloe. We don't get paid to admire the scenery." There was a subtle dismissiveness in Beatrice's tone, a casual disregard that pricked at Leonard. It wasn't outright cruelty, but a creeping sense of unease settled over him. Were these the minor discrepancies the surveys hinted at? He felt a knot forming in his stomach, a growing certainty that his initial confidence was misplaced. Then came the returns rush. A conveyor belt, usually a slow crawl, suddenly became a torrent of returned merchandise. Customers were backed up on the retail floor, furious. Beatrice, instead of delegating, just yelled, "Faster! Faster!" Leonard found himself caught in the maelstrom, frantically scanning items, his fingers fumbling with the unfamiliar system. A customer, red-faced and irate, thrust a tangled pile of shirts at him, demanding a refund for an item they clearly hadn't purchased at StellarThreads. Leonard, flustered, almost gave in, his power as CEO forgotten, his only thought to defuse the situation. He felt his stress level spike, a cold sweat breaking out on his brow. He had to adapt quickly or Leo would be exposed as incompetent. He remembered a half-heard snippet from his training, a quick check of the product code. He scanned it. It wasn't theirs. "I'm sorry, ma'am," he said, his voice surprisingly steady. "This item isn't from our store." The customer huffed, but moved on. He'd survived, but the experience left him shaken. The crushing realization hit him when he witnessed the inventory count. It was a weekly ritual, notorious for its inaccuracies. The hand scanners often malfunctioned, and rather than waiting for IT, Beatrice encouraged staff to simply guess the numbers, rushing them through. "Just make it look good, folks," she called out one day, her voice laced with impatience. Leonard watched, horrified, as Chloe, her eyes hollow with fatigue, deliberately entered an incorrect number for a batch of sweaters. "Why?" Leonard asked, his voice barely a whisper. Chloe looked around cautiously before muttering, "If it's wrong, we get yelled at. If we say the scanner's broken, we get yelled at for not being resourceful. This way, it's done. We just make it up." The sudden coldness that washed over Leonard was profound. He'd always prided himself on StellarThreads' meticulous inventory, the cornerstone of their supply chain. It was a lie, built on fear and apathetic leadership. His chest tightened, a stabbing realization of a truth he had been utterly blind to. During a rare break, Leonard found himself sharing a lukewarm coffee with David, a long-time employee whose cheerful demeanor seemed to mask a deep weariness. David, unaware he was speaking to his boss, sighed. "You know, the worst part isn't the long hours or even Beatrice. It's the feeling that no one cares. I've been here 15 years, seen 3 managers come and go, and not once has anyone asked what we think. We got ideas, Leonard, honest ideas that could save them a fortune. But they just want us to shut up and scan." David then shared a deeply personal truth, a story of his wife's recent illness and the struggle to pay medical bills, made harder by stagnant wages and a near-impossible-to-use benefits portal. "I almost lost my apartment last month. Leo, had to beg a loan off my sister. Our employee assistance program, it's a joke." The genuine hardship in David's voice, the quiet desperation, pierced Leonard's core. It wasn't just inefficiency. It was systemic erosion of trust, a deep-seated pain rooted in neglect. But the absolute gut-wrenching betrayal came on his last day. He overheard Beatrice in her office, on a hushed phone call. The door was ajar and her voice, usually loud, was conspiratorial. "Just mark them as damage in transit and send them to the outlet. We'll get rid of them there." Leonard's blood ran cold. He knew exactly what she was talking about. A recent batch of high-end blouses, a special limited edition, had arrived with minor imperfections, but were perfectly salvageable. Company policy dictated they be clearly marked as seconds and sold at a discount in the main store or donated. Beatrice was diverting them, selling them through an unauthorized back channel to an outlet store where she clearly had a kickback arrangement. This was an inefficiency. It was blatant theft, a deliberate cover-up, a profound disrespect for the company's integrity and its customers. Leonard stopped cold, his breath catching in his throat, his vision blurred, a chilling dread washing over him. The rot extended far deeper than he could have ever imagined. The next morning, Leonard Vance walked into the Greenview store, not as Leo, but as the CEO. He bypassed Beatrice's startled greetings and walked directly to the employee lounge where the morning shift was gathering. The silence that fell as he revealed himself was absolute, a mixture of astonishment, disbelief, and a profound awe on the faces of Chloe, David, and the others who had shared their truths with Leo. "My name is Leonard Vance," he announced, his voice clear and resonant, "and I've been here for the past 2 weeks, working alongside you." He saw the sudden understanding flash across David's face, the raw shock on Chloe's. "I saw things that broke my heart, and things that frankly made me sick." Swift justice was served. Beatrice was summarily dismissed. Her illicit dealings immediately reported to the authorities. The external outlet was shut down, and the stolen merchandise recovered. But Leonard's actions didn't stop there. He immediately launched an internal investigation, not just into the Greenview store, but across the entire StellarThreads chain. He personally oversaw the overhaul of the archaic benefit system, ensuring it was accessible and genuinely helpful. He implemented new channels for anonymous employee feedback, promising every voice would be heard and every concern addressed. The dawn of a new era at StellarThreads was swift and profound. Wages were adjusted to reflect market rates, and a new innovation fund was established to directly reward employee suggestions that improved efficiency or customer experience. Regular town hall meetings, led by Leonard himself, became a staple, fostering an open dialogue between leadership and frontline staff. The change was tangible. Faces that had once been etched with weariness now carried a renewed sense of purpose. Customer satisfaction scores soared as employees, feeling valued and heard, poured their renewed enthusiasm into their work. StellarThread became a beacon of ethical leadership, a testament to the transformative power of empathy and the unwavering commitment to its people. It wasn't just a fix. It was a resurrection, a company reborn from the ashes of disconnect and dishonesty, thriving on fairness and a deep, empathetic culture.